controversy, lots of questions, lots of misinformation out there about homeowners association. So we'd like to encourage you to call in with all your legal questions, of course, but particularly your homeowners association questions, or maybe your homeowners association stories. Maybe you're the victim of something that was done wrong under a homeowners association, or maybe you're a board member and you want to talk about your time of service on your HOA board and what it was like from that perspective. So today we're going to be discussing all things HOA. 877-943-9673 to get it all started. What is a homeowners association? It's a nonprofit mutual beneficial corporation, and it means that it is subject to state and civil corporate procedures. In Florida, the regulations pertain to governance, and they primarily are outlined in Florida Statute 720. The first key note in Florida Statute 720 has to do with the maintenance of HOA records. And according to the statute, these records have to be kept for at least 7 years and at a distance no greater than 45 miles from the community or located in the same county as the community. What records are these, you may ask? Meeting minutes of the board and directors, the active roster of members with mailing addresses and electronic mailing addresses or numbers, the association's insurance policy, that's a critically important one, copies of all contracts, including management agreements, leases, bids for the improvement of real property, the financial and accounting records of the association maintained in accordance with good accounting practices. So we're talking homeowners association. Maybe you have a great homeowners association story. Give us a call, 877-943-9673. 877-943-9673. I'm local Central Florida attorney Patrick Smith. You can email me, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. We got the whole crew here today. Lexi the intern, Yana the Belarusian producer, and Brian the call screener answering your calls. So give us a call now, 877-943-9673. All right, let's go to Patricia in Lakewood Ranch. Patricia, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. Is this the Patricia in Lakewood Ranch?
Yes, it's the troublesome your Patricia.
I was actually thinking about you a couple days ago, Patricia, and I was like, I don't think we heard from her last week.
Well, I've been trying to be patient with the company, and they don't respond to my correspondence.
All right, Patricia, give me 30 seconds to bring the rest of the listening audience who may not be familiar with sort of your saga. Is it okay if I call it a saga at this point?
Right.
Okay. So Patricia, and correct me on any detail I get wrong, Patricia had a company come out, do a shower installation, but something wasn't right on the permitting, correct?
Correct.
And then when the first time, and then when they reinstalled under the proper permit, now the install wasn't right. There's a gap in the shower installation. So that hasn't been remedied to date. And then there was a back and forth trying to negotiate and reach some sort of amicable settlement. Last time we talked, I think the subject matter of our conversation was, here's their offer. And my advice to you was to say, to keep their offer alive, while I'm considering your offer, would you consider this? And
correct.
And where did we go from there?
Well, I sent the email, and that was on July 1st. I have not gotten any word back at all.
Okay.
And I did what you said. I said, I'm considering your offer of the discount. However, would you consider replacing the shower per the dimensions in the permit to the city? And I haven't heard anything.
In your email response, did you give them a deadline?
No, I did not.
So I would go back and I would say, and also I would get away from the email. You tried the email, didn't work, fine. This time I want you to send a hard copy letter, and I want you to send it two ways, okay? I want you to send it regular U.S. mail and certified mail. That way, if down the road this becomes relevant, if they don't pick up the certified mail, we at least get the benefit of the presumption that they got the regular mail. So I want you to send the same letter twice, once regular mail, once U.S. certified mail, but don't forget that deadline. Give them 10 days, 15 days, 30 days, whatever you feel like's appropriate. But I would reference your email in this correspondence saying, hey, I sent you guys an email back on July 1st. I never got a response. In an abundance of caution, I'm sending a hard copy just to make sure that, you didn't not get the communication. Just, remember, pretend like this is all going to be evidence one day in front of a judge. And just make yourself seem like the more reasonable party. Here, I sent you an email, tried to do it the right way, and And I just want to make sure that we're able to communicate and see where those lines of communication. And if you don't get a response to that, Patricia, it's probably going to be in time to engage an attorney to represent you in that.
Well, would an attorney represent me? Because really, there's no great sum of money involved in it. And I ask this because my son was involved in a bike accident in which somebody opened their door into the bike lane and he went over their door. And an attorney took it, and then after looking into it, he said, no, there's no money in this for me, and so he dropped them.
Well, and I'm not trying to say anything negative about an attorney one way or the other. It's not always about the money. Sometimes it's just about helping people, Patricia, which is the whole reason we do this show.
Well, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, there's just right and wrong in the world sometimes, and it's not about the money. When I first started my practice, I always felt like if you treated people right and you did good work for them, the money would always come. You never had to focus on the money. And so I don't know, that's not my approach, what you described there. But at the end of the day, I think it's not something you're going to necessarily file a class action lawsuit over or anything.
Right.
But it is something worth having yourself represented. And the total amount at issue, again, what was the total amount?
$11,400.
Okay. So yeah, you would definitely need an attorney in that case. And like I said, you may just need to have an attorney send the threat of suit.
Okay.
And that may solve the issue. But at the end of the day, it's going to be one of those situations where you don't know what you don't know. And it could settle at any point along the way. It may go to mediation. It may go all the way to trial, but it's extremely unlikely, in my opinion, this actually goes to trial.
Okay. Something I've been considering, this company that it's a subsidiary of a very large corporation. And I've been considering writing a letter to the main corporation saying this is how this division has been treating me.
What I would prefer you do, I think strategically, is probably to send the next letter you're going to send to the party with whom you've been having your regular liaison. Okay. Just CC this letter to that corporation. And that way they're in the loop. It's not so much a tattling, if you will, but it's like, hey, this should be on your radar. So I'm sending this to you just so you have it.
Okay. Just one back word. Back quite a while ago, before I was dealing with this man I'm dealing with now, I did send a certified letter to the lady I was working with. I did get my return receipt from it and everything. However, she never acknowledged it. Well, then I finally called her, and she said, well, I don't work for that company anymore. So whoever signed for it in the mailroom didn't give it to anybody else.
Well, and that's the point. That's why you keep those records, so you can show you did the due diligence thing. You sent the letter. What they do with it from that point is on them, Patricia. That's not on you.
Okay. All right. Then thank you. You're the only person that gives me some peace of mind, that gives me some direction to go into, because I'm just at a total loss what I do in this.
Wow, Patricia, I'm sorry you're still dealing with it, and I look forward to the day that this is settled and we can kind of get to have a mini celebration on the air that it's over and done with.
I am too.
But we're always here for you, Patricia, and I appreciate you calling in, and keep me posted on how things. Okay.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome, Patricia.
And I hope the next call is a positive one.
I appreciate it, Patricia. Have a great day. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. All right, and speaking of Patricia, she's down in Lakewood Ranch. We have a new Sarasota location, so don't forget when I give out the office number, if you're down in the Sarasota area and you'd like to schedule your complimentary consultation with me, Attorney Patrick Smith, we now have a new Lakewood Ranch / Sarasota location available to meet with me. So 877-943-9673. That's your number to be part of the program today, just like Patricia, one of our regular callers. 877-943-9673. We're answering all your legal questions, and in between your legal questions, we're talking about all things homeowners association. So give us a call now, live and local, open studio lines. I'm your local Central Florida attorney, Patrick Smith. 877-943-9673. Give us a call now. We're happy to help. Or email me, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. Or just give us a call. Talk to us live on the air. 877-943-9673. 8673. So talking about HOAs, people are often curious, what does an HOA cost? When you move into a new community, you want to know all about, the financing. If you're financing your home, what's your monthly mortgage payment going to be? What are your taxes and insurance? And then, of course, what are your HOA fees? So on average, the monthly HOA fee in Florida is in the general $100 to $300 range. However, in more affluent communities, it can be significantly higher. HOA fees are used, by the way. Where do those fees go? What do they do? They go to maintaining the common amenities like community pools, landscaping for public grounds, centers, common areas in the community. So that's what those fees are designed to do. And if you ever have a question about where your HOA fees are going, that's why Florida Statute 720 requires those records to be kept close proximity to the community, so that if you have suspicion there may not be proper accounting and there may be misuse of those funds, you have the right to inspect as a resident there and make sure that the money is being allocated appropriately. So if you have an HOA or any other legal question, 877-943-9673, 877-943-9673. Give us a call now. We're live and local, or email me, Patrick at attorneypatricksmith.com. All right, let's go down to Sarasota and talk to Joanne. Joanne, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Good morning, Patrick.
How are you today,
It's
Joanne?
so ironic when I heard you this morning. I had thought, well, I wonder if I should call Patrick regarding a problem I'm having with an HOA. And I said, no, he doesn't want to hear about this. And then I heard your subject matter.
See, this is what we call a hand of God moment, Joanne.
Isn't that funny? That's wonderful. In any case, yes, I live in a lovely place here in the Meadows, which is very close to Lakewood Ranch. And I've been here for 21 years. I'm having a problem getting maintenance on the shrubbery around this particular set of buildings. It's 4 units to a grouping.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's the shrubbery has died. It's diseased, and I had actually a major what you want to call gardening center. The man, 3 generations, he came out and he told me what was wrong. They just are so slow in replacing it. It's terrible. It really is. Between the drought and chemicals, and then their well died, and the sprinkler system was off. So it looks very bad, and the privacy issue has come into play now.
Do you mind my asking, Joanne, what are your HOA dues there monthly?
Almost $900 a quarter.
$900 a quarter. So
right.
Roughly $300 a month then. So you're at that
right.
upper end of the state average there. Now, you said you're not getting any response. What have you done to elicit a response from the HOA?
I have gotten a response on one area. I mean, multiple emails. In other words, I get put into a position that I kind of have to get a little aggressive and say, look, you have to do this. And ultimately, and they act like they're giving me the world,
Joanne,
which is so silly because we have the money in reserve.
Joanne, I would love to be a fly on the wall when you get aggressive, because you just sound so pleasant and sweet. I can't imagine you getting aggressive, but
I do it in an email and I back it up with pictures. I attach pictures.
Okay. Well, hey, good for you for standing up for yourself. Absolutely. You deserve to have an answer to this. And as the point we just made, this is the reason you're paying that $900 a quarter, is for them to maintain the common areas. These are not your bushes. These are common area bushes and shrubs.
Exactly. And, it really is conspicuous. And at one point in time, it's still a problem. The gutters and downspouts are, old and they're leaking. And
when's your next HOA meeting?
I really don't know at this point in time. I've had a medical problem, and I go in there and I get so nervous. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. No, I completely understand.
And the odd part is I sat on the board, and I was very happy to do so.
What was it like during your time on the board? Since you're our first former HOA board member, how has your perspective shifted from being on the board to now being, sort of Jane resident, as it were?
Well, when I was on the board, if a resident complained during the meetings, my sympathy was with them. Really and truly, I mean, I still felt like an owner, if you know what I'm saying. Right. And I listened to what they had to say, and I was proactive and tried to do as much as I could. When people go home in the winter, they go up north and and they're, it's hard to get people on the board, Pat.
I understand. Listen, and try being an attorney. Moving
Yeah,
into a
I can
community,
imagine.
the request, and thankfully where I live now with my wife and son, we don't have an HOA, but when we had the other property, I mean, there was an HOA and there were numerous requests that I serve on the board being a practicing attorney. And I didn't want to do it. And that's only because my perception was I felt like being a board member was sort of making me the neighborhood policeman, so to speak. And I didn't want to be that guy. And that was how I interpreted it. And that might've been wrong, but what I would do, Joanne, if I were you, number one, if you feel like you can, make your way through a meeting, just go to a meeting, say, hey, I've got these issues. How would I get them addressed? I think number two is just write a letter to your HOA saying, hey, I have these concerns. Can someone give me some sort of written response just so I can know what the game plan is to address them? I think you start off fairly benign before you go that aggressive route. And you just...
Oh, yes, I have.
Good.
And I do think emails with pictures attached. I must say that the maintenance company, they're very willing. But what has happened, the board has demanded that they make every single decision. And it's sort of almost like a popularity contest. And a lot of the people on the board are from the northern, on the other side of a northern border, if you know what I mean. And they're only down here in the winter.
You can say snowbirds, Joanne.
It's not even a snowbird. It's beyond the snowbird.
That's not one of the 7 words the FCC will fine us for. You can say snowbird. So.
They're from Canada. A lot of them are from Canada.
Yeah, and we love our neighbors to the north. They're wonderful.
Oh, sure,
people.
absolutely.
But
a lot of lovely people.
At the end of the day, you said it's a popularity contest. Now, why is that? Because they're elected positions. And so it is a popularity contest. But Joanne, I think that's what you need to do is just go to the meeting if you can, write the letter. And I think the email's fine, but I would like we were telling Patricia, emails are great, but I still think a hard copy letter is better.
Yes, you're right about that, except my computer's down. All I have is an iPad now. But, I will take what you say to heart. I'm going to try one more time regarding the emails.
All right. Well,
it took
Joanne,
over 2 years to get some bushes replaced.
Well, Joanne, I'm proud of your progress in the 2 years you've been working on it, and I hope to someday get to meet you at my Sarasota office, okay?
Oh, you will. Thank you so much, Patrick.
Thank you, Joanne. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, you're listening to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith, 877-943-9673. That's our live studio line to be part of the show today, 877-943-9673. Give us a call now. We are live. We are local. We are here to help. Patrick at attorneypatricksmith.com to email your question or just give us a call, 877-943-9673. Let's go back to Sarasota and talk to a very patient Cheryl. Cheryl, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
I hope you're having yourself a wonderful Saturday.
Cheryl, it's the only kind of Saturday to have, if you ask me. I appreciate you saying that.
Aren't you sweet to agree with me? Listen, I don't want to take too much time, but I wanted to ask because I called an entity. I don't want to mention their name, but they provide transportation to and from medical appointments, okay? And this is through my insurance company. The question I have is that they were asking me questions regarding symptoms and things like that, and I had a real difficulty with that because they are not providing actual health care. Their job is to provide transportation, and I had a little bit of a mind difficulty with it, and I was starting to get a little snotty with them. But I wanted to hear what you might have to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, you had a little bit of the don't tread on me mentality. This is my private information. Why are you asking it just to help me ambulate from A to B? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Did you ask them point blank, why are you asking these questions?
I did ask them, and their excuse was because of COVID.
That's where I was going to land the plane to, was to say this is probably pandemic related. And there's been a lot of good hidden under the banner of the pandemic. There's been some bad hidden under the banner of the pandemic. It's like anything. And I think that what you got here is probably this transportation facility is concerned about liability. And if someone, one of their drivers contracts the virus, did they have policies and procedures in place designed to protect their drivers? My guess would be, Cheryl, that's where it's coming from. It's about protecting the driver.
Well, I told them that there are so many diseases out there that are very, difficult to contain, and it would be difficult to prove that somebody obtained a disease specifically from me. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So that was,
what I hear you saying, Cheryl, and don't let me put words in your mouth. What I hear you saying is you feel like it was a little bit like pageantry for the pandemic when there's equally threatening or more threatening diseases out there that they're not questioning about. Is that right?
yes, that's absolutely true.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's why you have a choice whether or not you use this service. You're not tethered to this particular service, are you?
Well, I do get free transportation. Otherwise, I would have to, pay for it.
Yeah.
And it can be a little expensive. It's not like taking a taxi, okay? It's a little bit more expensive than that due to the area that I'm going to and what I use a wheelchair. So it does cost a little bit
No,
extra.
I understand. And I understand that they're being invasive, but I think in times of a pandemic, it's one of those times where we don't break our rights or anything, but we sort of bend them on occasion. And I think the definite right to privacy has been bent pretty severely during the pandemic. If you have to, for instance, show a vaccine card to get in facilities and things of that nature, the right to privacy has definitely been diminished, but arguably for good reason. We're fighting a pandemic and trying to save lives and help people. So I don't know. It's a back and forth. There's a bit of a zero-sum game there, Cheryl, and you're demonstrating the battleground for that. Your privacy versus their right to protect their driver. That's the front lines of that battle.
Yeah, well, I appreciate your answer, and thank you once again. And I hope you have yourself a wonderful day. I guess I just felt that it was an invasion of my privacy, that they are not
Yeah.
actually producing any kind of health care to me.
Yeah.
They are not licensed in, positions and things like that. Their job is to, provide transportation. And I understand that, some of that has to do with liabilities as far as, accidents and things like that. So
I think
I
that's
was trying to
exactly
be
it.
reasonable.
Yeah, I think that's exactly
know.
it. They're not asking the questions in an attempt to diagnose you from the vehicle. It's just a matter of protecting their driver, would be my guess. So, but Cheryl, I don't know what your ailment is, but I will say a prayer to the God that does, and hope that you convalesce as quickly as possible. Okay.
Well, that's very kind of you. I hope you have yourself a terrific day.
You
And
too,
thanks
Cheryl.
for offering answers to questions. I really appreciate
Well,
that.
we're happy to do it,
Have a
Cheryl.
good one.
And great callers like you are why we do it, Cheryl. Thank you so much for your kind words. All right, you're
Oh.
listening to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show, 877-943-9673. Give us a call. We're live. We're local. We're happy to help any way we can. Email me, Patrick at attorneypatricksmith.com. Open studio lines, 877-943-9673. Give us a call. Right now, we're going to go to Riverview next and talk to Win. Win, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. How can we help you today?
Yes, it's great. I appreciate your show.
Well, thank you, Win. I appreciate that.
I live in an HOA community. I moved here 2 months ago. I've owned the house for about 10 years. I've been renting it. And the original builder went bankrupt. It was supposed to be townhomes.
Okay.
And another builder took over and put in single-family homes. And the sewers and everything else were already in, so they couldn't change anything. So we have a central meter that the HOA is responsible for, and they water our lawns. We don't have any way to irrigate our lawns. And the meter hasn't been working now in 7 months. So they've had companies come out, and so far they haven't repaired it. They haven't got it running. I talked to the HOA 2 weeks ago, and they thought everything was fine. So what is my remedy?
So, okay, let's back up a second. So you said the irrigation has been out for, hey, when, if your radio's on, would you mind turning the volume down for me in the back?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Win. So the short version is, you said for 7 months, there's been no irrigation?
Yes.
So what's the nature of the landscape out there? 7 months, Florida heat, no, I mean, it must be like just a barren wasteland.
Well, there's no way to water our lawns other than use a hose.
So you're just back to old fashioned, turn on the hose and put the sprinkler in the yard watering, and there's no other way around it. So
Yeah, there's no sprinkler system right now.
well, so this is showing that divide. I mean, if you're now the grass you're watering is a part of you own the home. This is your private residence and not a
Yeah.
common area. So I don't think it's going to be the HOA's responsibility to put in the irrigation. It's probably going to be your private expense since it's not a common area. Their
Well,
responsibility.
we have no access to the meter. The water comes from that meter. It's a central meter.
Yeah, I think that may be just a technical issue with the utility company and reaching out to them and saying, hey, how in light of this development do I get access for my own private irrigation? That's where I would start if I was you, Win.
Well, we asked to have individual meters put in, and they said it would be millions of dollars, and they couldn't afford it.
Well, who said that?
The HOA.
Well, but if it's going into private residences, I think that it's a reasonable step to allow private residents to have irrigation at their property if they're paying the irrigation expense. Have you heard the millions and millions of dollars directly from the utility company?
No, we don't have any contact with the utility company. We go through the HOA.
See, I would go around the HOA. I would go directly to the utility company, say, look, I'm trying to establish private service for a private residence that lives within the community. I know the HOA has their own meter for their common area purpose, but I want to know the feasibility of setting it up for my private residence. It may be fairly simple, Win, but you want to, if you hear the same answer that the HOA is telling you, well, then you got confirmation. But if they tell you something different and there's a path to success there and you've just been waiting 7 months, I mean, why not call them and at least rule it out? It doesn't hurt. I mean, worst
Who
case
do I have to contact?
the utility company.
Utility company. Okay.
Yeah, I just contact them directly and say exactly what I said. I'm private resident. The water here is provided by your company to our HOA for the common areas. I need to establish service for my private residents. How do I do that?
Does the utility company have a name?
You tell me. What's the name? Who provides your water services where you live?
I don't know. I just moved here.
Okay. Well, I would just ask. I mean, ask for the name of the utility company. The HOA certainly has that, and they reach out
All
to
right.
them directly. Okay.
There's a meeting coming next week. I can go to the board meeting.
Perfect. And I guarantee you, Win, you're not going to be the only resident in there with this question.
No, I talked to my neighbors. They're all complaining.
Yeah. And so I think you go to the meeting, you get a gaggle of you together, and you go and you say, hey, how do we remedy this? And then you get some answers and you move on with life, and you got a beautifully lush watered lawn that's on a regular irrigation schedule.
Okay. Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, Win. Thanks for calling in. All right. You're listening to the Attorney
Appreciate
Patrick.
it.
Yeah. Thank you, Win. All right. You're listening to the
I
Attorney
look
Patrick
forward to
Smith
hearing
Show.
you yesterday.
Oh, thank you, Win. I appreciate you looking forward to the show. 877-943-9673. That's our live and local number to be part of the program. 877-943-9673. We're live. We're local. We're happy to help any way we can. You can email me directly, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com, or give us a call talking all things homeowners association. You can call in now with a homeowner association question, story, or any other legal question. 877-943-9673. All right, next let's go to Largo and let's talk to Tim. Tim, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Thank you. How you doing this morning?
I'm great, Tim. How can we help you?
Okay. I have a 72-year-old man, Vietnam veteran, who happens to be my stepfather, and he got 4 lottery scratch-off tickets that were $1,000 each. Winners. And he was following directions to mail it in because you don't drive. And he just gave them to me and said, here, can you mail these in for me? Take care of it. I said, sure. He did that to me last year, and we mailed in 3 tickets, and everything went through fine. Now, this time, I went to the UPS office and the UPS store and mailed them from there. The lady that works there, she took copies of the tickets front and back, and copies of his license and Social Security card, and copies of the claim forms, and stuck them all in the envelope herself, put the label on it, and we mailed it out. I mailed it out ground, but mailed it out with signature required. And unfortunately, UPS lost the ticket, lost the envelope. Now, the tracking number says that it got picked up from the store and taken to St. Petersburg, Florida. And from St. Petersburg, Florida, it got picked up at that hub and went to the Tampa hub. And I guess that's where it got lost. They did an investigation on it. They said that they can't find it. And I'm finding out that now they're telling me, well, the only thing I can get is the value is the paper it's printed on. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's $4,000, you know? So I decided to call the Tampa or the state of Florida lottery office in Tallahassee. I get into the claims department there and I speak with the lady and gave her all the information, emailed all the documents, everything to her. And she says she's giving it over to the legal department.
Yeah.
And they told her that, well, it's up to it's the player's responsibility to make sure the tickets get signed and delivered.
Yeah, you can always deliver it in person. You don't have to mail it in, although that's a...
Yeah, I know that, but he's 72 years old. He don't drive, and my car, I don't think would make it.
I understand.
And
So,
we did it last year, mailed it, because they also say that you can mail them in.
well,
you know?
well, Tim, I think the short answer is, did you buy additional insurance with the courier?
No, because I was told then when I was mailing it out, I got bad information. Her telling me that the ticket it's only worth the paper it's written on. That's all I could
Yeah, I would have probably tried to take out some additional insurance on that. I think that might be lost money at this point. I don't know, is the short answer. I think you're governed by whatever terms you signed on for when you agreed to use that courier service. But if you get a copy of all that small print, you'll probably find language that holds or something like that, except for the value of the actual item as opposed to the cash prize value. And Tim, since you play scratchers, did you also have a Mega Millions ticket for last night?
Yeah.
And I'm
no, they haven't calculated it yet.
Well,
so
I was gonna say,
right now.
I'm guessing you didn't win the Mega Millions last night. Otherwise, you wouldn't be sweating your buddy's $4,000.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, I feel obligated now to on the 4,000, because he trusted me, which he did last year, and everything went through fine.
Well, if you win the 1.2 billion, it's no problem.
And yeah, right.
All you got to do is go win the jackpot.
I mean, I don't understand. They have copies of the tickets that are signed and address on the back. Nobody else can cash them unless they know how to take the ink off the paper.
Tim, I think the best thing to do to give you peace of mind is send them a demand letter, and it's really kind of a Joe Friday version. Is just the facts, bullet points. Boom. Here's what I did. Here's what happened. Are you guys willing to offer anything in the way of an amicable settlement? And just see what they say. It's the sonar strategy. Send it out and see what bounces back to them. But I think you'll feel a lot better just having written that letter to them. I think it'll give you a little sense of justice and closure.
Yeah, the only closure I want is a check.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I understand in a perfect world, Tim, but we're dealing with an imperfect world, and that's the hand you've been dealt. So, Tim, I appreciate you calling in, and I'm sorry I don't have a better, happier answer for you, but I think that's the best answer.
Well, I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Tim. All right. You listen to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show, 877-943-9673, 877-943-9673. We're live and local today talking all things homeowners association. We've discussed kind of the basics of what homeowner associations are, that they maintain common areas, and that's what those monthly fees that on average range between $100 to $300 go for, are maintaining those common areas. We've had some great questions so far, and we've got some other callers lined up. So if you want to be part of the show, 877-943-9673. Call with your HOA question or any other legal question, 877-943-9673, or email me, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. All right, next we're going to Pinellas Park, and we're going to talk to Jack. Jack, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. How can we help you today?
Thank you, Patrick. Good morning to you. I just have a quick question. I live in a townhome, and the water meter that's on my house outside is broken, and they're saying that it's my responsibility, yeah, to replace it, pay for it, and replace it. And I've had some people tell me that no, that's their responsibility. So I'm not sure.
Well, this is going back to Wynn's question, but you're sort of on the other end of the spectrum where Wynn was trying to get that meter at his house. And they're telling him, we have a community meter for the common areas. You have that private meter. And it's exactly the point. This is not a common area item. This is not a community item. This is your personal property. So it sounds like they're accurate in this assessment, Jack, that this is your personal residence. It is associated with your personal residence, and it's therefore your responsibility, not the HOA's.
I see. Okay. All right.
You can always appeal it, and you can go to the board meeting and ask them, hey, can you show me chapter and verse in, the bylaws articles of the HOA and kind of where it says that, but they'll probably point to it pretty quickly because I'm guessing if they've already given you that response, they've already checked it.
Yeah, and it's not really that big of a deal. It was more just an issue of, do I really need to replace it, or is it their responsibility? So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jack, I appreciate you calling in, and good luck, and hopefully it gets replaced quickly.
Thank you, Patrick. You have a good day.
You too, Jack. All righty. You're listening to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith, 877-943-9673, 877-943-9673, or you can email me, Patrick at attorneypatricksmith.com. Before we go to Zephyr Hills and we're going to talk to Arthur, there's an issue there underlying Jack's question about a dispute. And we were talking earlier about what the fees range for, the HOA fees being between $100 to $300, what they're used for as far as maintaining common areas, and the question becoming, can you ever dispute your fees in an HOA situation? And yes, you can. And there's a famous case that comes to us. It's Gundel, I hope I'm saying that last name correctly, versus AV Homes, Inc. And this comes to us from the Associated Press back in November of 2021. And it was the residents of a community in Polk County known as Solivita that actually won a nearly $35 million civil case. And each resident actually stood to recover in excess of $10,000 after the judgment in their favor. And this lawsuit had to do with basically the builder selling, the HOA selling the facilities to the private residents, but the valuation was off. The seller in that particular situation, the HOA, was attempting to sell it for, I think the number was $73 million, and the actual valuation that was done after the fact of the amenities being sold was roughly a quarter of that. This, according to the Associated Press. So their residents fought back. They won big to the tune of nearly $35 million. So it does pay sometimes to go against your homeowners association. So 877-943-9673. I'm Attorney Patrick Smith. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. You can call in now or email me, Patrick at attorneypatricksmith.com. All right. Arthur, thanks for your patience. How can we help you today? Hey, Arthur, are you there?
Yes, I'm sorry. I would like to know if I need you or one of your peers to appear at a satisfaction of mortgage signing.
I don't necessarily think you need an attorney at the signing. However, I do think your attorney should review the paperwork that you're going to be signing prior to you signing. I had interactions this week with clients who had entered into contracts and brought them to me to review after the fact. It's a lot harder for me to give good advice once the agreement's already been signed. So I would say, Arthur, you don't necessarily need us at the actual signing. You definitely need a good meeting with an attorney to review the documents prior to signing.
Thank you very much.
All right. I'll talk about the office number here in just a moment if you want to give me a call, okay?
Got it.
All righty. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I am your host, Attorney Patrick Smith, and that office number, if you want to schedule down at our Sarasota office or Sun City Center, hello, Vern, and everyone down there on Sun Radio. We appreciate you guys. And if you want to schedule there in the Clearwater office where I was yesterday, over in Claremont or the Villages, all toll free, you can call 877-754-6764, 754-6764. That's your toll-free number. You can also always email me if you want to schedule an appointment, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. But again, you can call the staff Monday through Friday. They're in the office 8 to 4:30, 877-754-6764. And if you need our contact information, you can always visit our website, attorneypatricksmith.com. But to be part of our show today, call in now, 877-943-9673. All right, next we are going to Haines City. Speaking of Polk County, we're going to talk to Robert. Robert, welcome to the...
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
I'm great, Robert. How are you? You listening on 90.3?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate it. How do we help you today,
Full
Robert?
radio. Yes, sir. Timeshare. Is there a legal way to get out of a timeshare?
Yes,
Do you have any
there is.
counsel on that?
Yeah, you can offer a surrender, and where you reach out to the timeshare company and say, look, I'd like to offer it back to you. I'll sign it over in exchange for a release of all financial responsibility. In other words, I do not want to be on the hook for anything else in the future, and you want to make sure that that release is reviewed by your attorney before you sign it. Make sure that they're offering you what you asked for in exchange for the surrender of the timeshare. You can do that on your own, and if that isn't successful, of course, there are attorneys we work with who do this for a living. They do timeshare surrender, so you can always give us a call at the office, Robert, and we'll be happy to put you in touch with the one if you're not successful in doing it on your own.
Okay, so you're saying send them a surrender? Is that what you said?
I think you send them a letter saying, I'd like to surrender my timeshare, and I would like to be released from any and all financial obligation with this timeshare, and I'm willing to sign it back over to you guys in exchange for no consideration. In other words, I'll give it back to you if you let me out of this, and give them 30 days or whatever you think's appropriate to respond, and then go from there.
Okay. I appreciate the information. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Robert. I hope it works out. And like I said, if they send you paperwork back to sign, before you sign it, get with me or some other licensed attorney to review it, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All righty, 877-943-9673. We're live and local and happy to help any way that we can. 877-943-9673. I'm your local Central Florida attorney, Patrick Smith. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. And before we go to Richard in Lake Wales, I'm going to turn it over to Lexi, the intern, for our email question of the day. Lexi?
Sorry. So the first question we have is, can I opt out of my HOA?
So this is a common question you'll see is opting out of HOAs, and it depends if your HOA is voluntary versus mandatory. Obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory. Voluntary, you can. Mandatory, you can't. And then it comes the timing issue. Is this a pre-existing HOA versus a new HOA? New ones that start in a community where you're already living, often you do have a chance to opt out. But if it's an existing mandatory HOA and you're moving in, you're probably stuck. So that's the answer to that one. But great email question. 877-943-9673. Give us a call now. I'm Attorney Patrick Smith. You can email me, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. All right, next we're going to Lake Wales, talking to Richard. Richard, thanks for calling in.
Hey, Patrick.
Welcome
Thanks
to the
for
Attorney
taking my
Patrick
call.
Smith. Yes, sir. How's everything in Lake Wales today?
Oh, it's beautiful out here. I'm listening down here on 90.3, and I said, I'm going to give you a call because I got a question for you.
Fire away, Richard.
Hey, I'm a small business owner, and I have one client that just doesn't want to pay his bill, and he's no longer taking phone calls from us. I did file a notice to owner, so I was wondering what would be the next step to file like a lien on this property.
Yeah, so you have a copy of the contract for the work that was to be done and the compensation, all that good stuff?
So it was a job that was non-contract. He called me up and said I need the work done. I need it done ASAP, so we went and did it.
So you're going to have to really rely on the facts and what you can prove as far as I did the work for this reason, because you're going to be trying to establish something called a mechanics lien, where you went and improved the property in some way, and you're trying to, because I'm presuming this is this gentleman's homestead property, correct?
Come to find out, no.
Okay, so if it's not if it's his rental property, even better, because you don't have to worry about state constitutional homestead protection. So I think you just get with your attorney, bring in your evidence, maybe some accompanying affidavits, and you file that lien against the property and then go from there.
Okay.
All right, Richard, if you need help with that, give us a call at the office. I'll give out the office number here before the show wraps up, okay?
All right. Sounds good. I appreciate it, buddy.
All righty. Thank you, Richard. All right. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. All right. If you want to be part of the show, 877-943-9673. Actually, you'll probably just have to wait till next week. I just saw the clock. We got about a minute and a half here to go. One final point, homeowner association versus homestead. A lot of people out there saying, well, how do homeowner associations get around homestead? If it's constitutionally protected, how can they foreclose if they're an HOA? And there's a Supreme Court case on this. This was the last point. It's Bessemer versus Gersten. And that's a case that came down to us in 1980. And it says that the association's lien for assessments relates back to the recording of the declaration by the HOA. And that since establishing homestead status does not defeat prior liens, which it would be, association's assessment liens prevail over later established homestead rights. This is the reason that homestead properties are able to be foreclosed by HOAs. So there you go, folks, how one rare circumstance where homestead law actually yields. So a very rare circumstance. All right. I'm Attorney Patrick Smith. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. Thank you to producer Brian, the call screener, Lexi, the intern, everybody being here today. We'll be back with you next week. If you want to revisit the office to schedule an appointment at any of our office locations, 877-754-6764, 877-754-6764. Check us out online at attorneypatricksmith.com. You can always email me during the week, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com, and write this number down for next week, 877-943-9673. Everybody stay safe. God bless. Go Gators.
The preceding was